Hello, this is Ollie's Movie Madness, and I'm here to do a movie review of There Will Be Blood. And let's talk about it. Now, the storyline is really disturbing because we focus around this evil oil tycoon named Daniel Plainview who enjoys manipulating people because he takes in this kid named H.W. Plainfield, who is not really his kid, but he uses the kid to appear like a dad. He uses the kid to make it look like he's a normal guy, but in reality, he's just a piece of shit who wants to drill for oil in Little Boston and steal all the money and become filthy rich and just make people's lives more miserable by using people as like essentially puppets. He's manipulating people, and that is basically what the story is. It's just about this evil oil tycoon who wants to make a living drilling for oil in Little Boston so he and his son can become rich. And that's basically what happens. Such a really dark but really realistic storyline. Now I talk about the performances, and why don't we start off with Daniel Day-Lewis, who plays our main villain, Daniel Plainview. This is without a doubt one of the scariest performances of 2007 because there'll be moments where Daniel Day-Lewis would be calm and like very like manipulative, but the next minute there'll be moments where Daniel Day-Lewis just screams at the top of his lungs and raises his voice, and when he raises his voice, it's really scary. It's really creepy, but it works because the character of Daniel Plainview, the character he's playing, is such a douchebag. He is an asshole because you don't feel bad for this asshole. You really don't, because this guy just enjoys like torturing people by like manipulating them into joining him so he can drill for more oil and become filthy rich, and you don't care that he is acting all nice to his son because he's also manipulating his son into helping him become rich. And there are so many memorable moments with Daniel Plainview, whether it's the scene of him drilling for oil in the beginning of the film or him brutally killing Eli Sonny with a bowling pin. He just beats the living crap out of him and just kills him. And what makes Daniel Plainview scary is that, much like Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men, he wins. He succeeds in the end by destroying Little Boston and becoming rich. And you can just tell that Daniel Day-Lewis was having a ball as this villain, having a lot of fun. And so yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis, big standout of the entire film. What an amazing performance. Let's talk about the Riddler in this movie, who plays two characters. Paul Dano plays two identical twins, and you don't feel bad for them. You don't. Now, Paul doesn't play a big role in the movie. He's only in that one scene where he is meeting Daniel Plainview's son and helping him get oil so he and his dad can become super rich. But his other character he plays, Eli Sonny, he has a lot to do. And you feel somewhat sorry for him because Daniel is treating him like utter shit. So, yeah, you feel bad for him. But at the same time, you don't, because he is going along with Daniel Plainview's evil plan. So, even though you feel bad for him for getting beaten up at a bowling alley and getting tortured, you're really not supposed to feel bad for any of the characters in this movie. And Dano just does a magnificent job as these characters. You can tell that Paul Dano was having a lot of fun. In terms of my favorite Paul Dano performance, it's my second favorite because I think his Riddler is my favorite performance that he's given. The kid actor in this movie, which Dylan Free's sister, or Dylan, who plays Daniel Day-Lewis's son, H.W. Plainview. I will say, though, he does a magnificent job with his performance. Again, you can just tell he's having a lot of fun, but also you kind of feel bad for him because, like, he's getting manipulated by his dad, who's not really his dad because, again, Daniel Plainview stole him from his deceased mother. But even though you feel bad for him, and even though he's the least evil character in the film, he's still an asshole. He's still selfish. He follows in his father's footsteps. That scene of him, the scenes of him and his dad talking about, okay, when are we gonna drill for oil? Right over here. That is a good spot. And then like negotiating with other people how to become rich. It's some really scary stuff. And the scene where he goes deaf, even though it's a different actor, but the scene where he goes deaf when the oil rig explodes, that is a really scary and really dark moment in the film. And I think him and Daniel Day-Lewis did play off each other really well. And you could tell that, again, he was having a lot of fun at the character. And the only actor I want to talk about is the last actor, Ciarán Hinds. We're talking about him, Steppenwolf. He doesn't really do much in this movie. He's only in like one scene, like a few scenes, like the scene where he's talking to HW about his family life, or him like helping them look for oil. But aside from that, Ciarán Hinds doesn't really do much. But for what he does have, he does a terrific job as Fletcher. He does a glorious job at that character, Fletcher Hammerlow, or Fletcher. He does a glorious job at that character. I find it funny that you have Riddler and Steppenwolf in one movie together, so that is like really interesting. But of course, we have to talk about the best thing about this film, and that is the directing by Paul Thomas Anderson. He does a magnificent job with the directing. Just what I love about directing, that he really showed the evil and downright despicable nature of greedy oil tycoons, because they realize those people are real. They enjoy drilling for oil and destroying people's land and getting a lot of money. And I think he did a glorious job of showing how cruel and disgusting those people are, because all they care about money is and getting rich. And I really like how he utilizes that idea of how far would someone go to become rich and screw people over. So that was a really great idea. I also like how he uses the music in this film as a horror, make this like a horror movie with the scary music. And this is probably my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson film, because he does a magnificent job directing this film. Even the cinematography looks really scary, and the thing that makes it really scary is that it looks like you're in the 1800s. It looks really good, especially when the oil rig is on fire. That looks really amazing. So he did a magnificent job directing this film. And also the way he just makes Daniel Plainview so vile and disgusting, because unlike villains like Killmonger, Dreyfus, Wenwu, even Icarus and Magneto, Daniel Plainview is a villain you can't feel sympathy towards, because he's such an asshole. You can only just hate him. And he did a phenomenal job of making the audience hate Daniel Plainview as a villain, but also love him because of Daniel Day-Lewis's performance. So in conclusion, I still really love this film. I love the storyline. I love all the performances, especially Daniel Day-Lewis and Paul Dano play off each other so well. I love the darker tone. The social commentary that it shines the light on evil oil tycoons is amazing. And I love how the film takes it really seriously. And if you have not seen There Will Be Blood, you need to watch it. You will not be disappointed. So I give There Will Be Blood a 10 out of 10. It's such an awesome and terrific film. So that's going to be it for my movie review of There Will Be Blood. Hope you guys enjoy.